What would you do if you knew it was your dog's last day? Would you stay by their side or leave them to face the end alone? The one who has loved you unconditionally for their entire life, the one who wagged their tail every time you walked through the door, spends their final moments scared, confused, and searching for you. But you're not there. Stay with me. What I'm about to share, a veterinarian's heartbreaking confession, might be the most important message every dog owner needs to hear. Dogs know more than we think. Let me start by saying this. Dogs know what's happening. They might not understand the specifics, but they can sense when something is wrong. I read something on Reddit that I can't stop thinking about. A vet shared a post more like a heartbreaking confession about people who leave their dogs to die alone at the clinic. The post really hit me. My first reaction was, wait, someone cared for their dog its whole life and then just dropped it off at the vet, not even staying for its final moments? What kind of people do that? I'll read the full post to you, and afterward I'll share my thoughts and a few points about it. I work at a vet clinic, and I'm sick of people dropping their dogs off to be euthanized. It might be hard to say goodbye, but it's hell for them. They already don't like the vet, they're confused, they're scared, they're sad, and they're looking for you when they take their last breath. I can try to provide them as much love and comfort as I humanly can, but at the end of the day I'm a stranger to them. Today a lady dropped off her 13-year-old dog to be put to sleep after I told her we didn't have a vet in clinic. As she was on farm calls all day, she insisted on leaving her there at 9 a.m., knowing that our vet wouldn't be back until well after 6 p.m. She was too busy to bring her back later, so she left her sweet girl to be alone all day before dying. I kept her with me for most of the day, took her for a small walk, bought her a cheeseburger and donut on my lunch, and laid on the ground and cuddled her while she cried, scared and confused. I kissed her and told her she was a good girl while she crossed the rainbow bridge, but her eyes never stopped looking for her family. Dogs know what's happening, don't do this to them. Be there when they cross that bridge. It won't kill you, I promise. This very obviously does not apply to anyone who had absolutely no choice during pandemic. Let's talk about why this post matters and what we can learn from it. But before that, I want to share an interesting perspective on how different cultures process loss. Do you remember Tamagachis? Those tiny digital pets we loved and cared for in the 90s? Even their deaths weren't treated the same around the world. In Japan, when a Tamagotchi passed away due to neglect, players faced a heartbreaking image, a gravestone, often with an angelic version of the Tamagotchi floating above it, accompanied by somber music. It was a poignant way to teach responsibility through a digital loss. But in the US, the screen was different. Instead of a gravestone, players saw a spaceship taking their Tamagotchi back to its home planet, Bandai. The company that made Tamagotchi believed the Japanese version was too traumatic for American audiences and softened the blow with a less emotional narrative. This small change reminds us that how we confront loss often depends on cultural context. But when it comes to our dogs, there's no softening it. They know when something is wrong, and unlike a Tamagotchi, they can't imagine a comforting spaceship to carry them away. They look to us for that comfort. Why being there matters, and the impact of your presence. Being there in your dog's final moments is the most meaningful act of love you can give. For them, it's about comfort, safety, and trust. For you, it's about closure, honoring the bond you shared, and knowing you showed up when it mattered most. For your dog. Dogs don't understand why they're at the vet or what's happening, but they do understand you. Your presence, your voice, your touch, your love anchors them in a moment of fear and confusion. Instead of feeling scared, they know you're there, loving them and holding them as they cross the rainbow bridge. You are their entire world. They have spent their lives waiting for you to come home, celebrating your smiles and comforting you on your worst days. In their final moment, your presence is what gives them peace. For you. Being there is incredibly difficult. Watching your dog take their final breath will break your heart, but it also gives you a chance to say goodbye properly. You can hold their paw, whisper their name, and let them know they were loved until the very end. It's heartbreaking, yes, but it's also healing. Being there means you'll carry the pain of loss, but not the guilt of wondering if they felt alone. The last thing they see won't be a strange room or unfamiliar faces. It will be you, their trusted companion, staying with them to the very end. The last memory matters. The final moments are hard, but they're important. You'll remember that you were there, showing up for the one who gave you their unconditional love every single day. It's a memory that, though painful, will bring peace and dignity. In the end, being there is about keeping a promise. It's about honoring the bond you shared and giving your dog the comfort they deserve. Love isn't just about the happy moments, it's about standing beside them during the hardest ones too. Why some owners choose not to stay. For some owners, the emotional weight feels too heavy to bear, so they choose not to stay. fear of pain. Watching a pet take their final breath can be overwhelming. The thought of seeing them in that moment, still and quiet, can feel unbearable. Some people worry they won't be able to handle the grief, the tears, or the heartbreak. It's easier to avoid the moment altogether than to face the reality of saying goodbye, not wanting to see them suffer. Some owners believe leaving is an act of mercy for themselves and their pet. They think witnessing the process will be too distressing and fear it will tarnish the memories of their pet's happy, vibrant days. Denial or avoidance. For many, it's hard to accept that their pet's life is coming to an end. Walking out of the clinic instead of staying can feel like avoiding the finality of the moment, as though not being there makes it less real. Misunderstanding the importance. Some people don't realize how much their presence matters to their dog. They may think that the vet staff can provide the same comfort, or that their absence won't make a difference. But the truth is, no stranger can replace the love and trust a dog feels for their owner. Regret after the fact. Many owners who choose not to stay later admit they regret the decision. They realize that leaving may have been easier in the moment, but the guilt of not being there for their pet stays with them long after. While it's understandable why some choose not to stay, it's important to remember this. Your dog doesn't care about tears, grief, or how strong you are. All they want is you, your presence, your love, and your hand to hold as they cross the bridge. It's a hard moment, but it's one they deserve to share with you. What you can do. But being there for them makes all the difference. Here's what you can do to make their final moments as peaceful, loving, and comforting as possible. Be present. No matter how hard it feels, stay with your dog, hold their paw, stroke their fur, and speak softly to them. Your voice and touch will give them comfort and peace, letting them know they're not alone. Bring familiar things. Bring their favorite blanket, toy, or even a piece of clothing that smells like you. These familiar items can help ease their anxiety in an unfamiliar place and make them feel safe. Talk to them. Your dog knows your voice. Whisper their name, tell them how much you love them, and remind them what a good boy or girl they've been. Your words will bring comfort and reassurance when they need it most. Create a peaceful environment. Ask the vet if you can dim the lights or play soft music if it helps calm your dog. Some clinics have quiet rooms specifically for this moment. Don't hesitate to ask for anything that might make the space more comforting. Take your time. There's no need to rush. Spend as much time with your dog as you need before and after. Let yourself grieve, hold them, and say goodbye in your own way. Prepare yourself. Facing this moment is difficult, but preparing emotionally can help. Talk to your vet beforehand about what to expect during the process. Knowing what's going to happen can ease some of the anxiety and allow you to focus on being there for your pet. Honor their memory. After they've crossed the rainbow bridge, consider ways to honor their memory. Whether it's planting a tree, keeping their collar, or framing a favorite photo, these gestures can help you process the loss and celebrate the love you shared. The final gift of love. Being there for your dog's final moments is the last and most meaningful act of love you can give. It's not about being strong, it's about being there, showing up and holding onto the bond you shared until the very end. If you're watching this, it means you care about your dog. Maybe this video has made you think about your own pet and the bond you share. So here's what I want you to do. Go hug your dog. Give them an extra treat, an extra walk, an extra moment of love. And if the time ever comes, promise me this. You'll be there for them. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, because every dog deserves to feel loved, especially in their final moments. Have you faced this moment with your pet? Share your story below. Your words might help someone else through this difficult time.